everybody. I'm Shelby. I'm the creator of Little Justice Leaders, and today I'm super excited to be bringing to you a conversation about project-based learning and inviting one of our collaborators, Dr. Diondraya Taylor. Dr. Taylor is an expert in real-world learning and project-based learning, and here she is now. And she is also the founder of Mindset and Milestones, an entrepreneurship program for kids, and so she is an expert on everything related to real-world learning and project-based learning. So we're going to jump into that, and hopefully you'll walk away with some specific tactics, strategies, and ideas that you can use in your classroom or with the kids in your life to get them more engaged in their learning. So welcome, Drea.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here.
So excited to have you here. So I already introduced you, so let's just jump right into it. As you know, in our community at Little Justice Leaders, we work with lots of teachers and parents, so they're going to be able to get a lot from your thoughts on project-based learning and real-world learning. So let's start with telling folks from your perspective, what even is real-world learning? When we say that, what does it mean?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about kind of real world learning and then also project-based learning because oftentimes they go hand in hand. Project learning is where, as a lot of us are familiar with, it's the process of using projects and deliverables to help students learn about whatever it is that you want to cover in your class for that day or that week or that month. It's really good for active student engagement, for listening, for dealing with some of that student apathy that I know a lot of teachers have been kind of suffering from. Can't get their students to care about anything or want
Definitely.
and so project-based learning is really great for kind of driving all of that. The way that real world learning real world learning works with that is project-based is kind of the vehicle, but real world learning applies project-based learning to things that actually develop their interest, whether those are
Oh, you cut out there for a
no
minute.
worries. I'll go back a little bit. So project-based learning kind of works with real world learning in that real world learning takes those projects and says we're going to apply these to the workforce. We're going to apply them to the market. And the goal is to help students find a way to engage their interest and figure out what they like and how those might match with a career while they're already sort of taking the classes and engaging in the classroom the way that they normally would. It allows for them to build portfolios by the time that they graduate high school and also give them a leg up when they're entering college or entering the workforce because they've already done things, right? They've already built a website. They've already tried out the idea. They've already made, so they're taking all the skills that they learn in the classroom and applying them to things more marketable in the world.
Yeah. Absolutely. So the benefits to the students are super clear, super obvious. What are the benefits to the teachers? Why should teachers bring this to their classroom? How's it going to help them?
You know, I will say this as a teacher. I taught social entrepreneurship and I taught entrepreneurship, and the students in my class chose to be there, and I still dealt with a lot of like, well, I don't want to do this right now. Why are we doing this today? And I think that a lot of teachers are dealing with that, and even Instagram and TikTok, a lot of teachers are being really candid with the experience that they're having. Like, the students don't care. They don't want to don't want to do their work. I don't know how to get them to care. Like, it hasn't always been this hard. It shouldn't be this hard. And so the benefits to the teacher are definitely the one, if you get one really good, like thorough project, like some of the ones that we offer at Mindset and Milestones, you can have class material for a week, for a month in some cases, that they're working towards this bigger picture item. And this allows you to take some time and just like be the teacher in that situation, not be so worried about creating new content or about delivering, the way that's engaging and exciting. Because in these cases, they learning. I've had who didn't want to pay attention. I gave them a chance to put together a presentation or build a website about anything that they're interested in, or teach me whatever it was that I wanted to learn about in a TikTok video. And all of a sudden, I get the engagement them to say that, like, well, maybe there is a point to coming here. Maybe school does still mean something.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and we hear that too from so many of our teachers that it's just getting more and more difficult to engage kids after COVID with new social media and phone use. Like kids just need, more and more engagement. I was talking to a teacher today who was telling me how much more engaged her students are when they're doing something that they feel like it matters. They feel like it has some application in the real world. So, can you give us some examples of what real world learning could look like in an elementary school classroom?
Oh, I love this. So I actually was it was one of the first elementary school programs that Mindset and Milestones worked with. They had
Mm-hmm.
elementary school girls, third through fifth grade, and they were starting their own program. And they basically asked the girls to come up to identify some problems.
Yeah.
And I was in shock when the teacher shared with me the kinds of things that the girls were saying. We feel like people get a lot more attention than we do. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, violence is really bad, and there's way more of it than there should be. Like they're articulating really thoughts and ideas at age that I think we just don't all give them enough credit for
Yeah.
much they understand. And so the problem that they ended up wanting to solve with the idea that they came up with was people not being kind to each other. I think
Mm-hmm.
that they took this very simple idea that we could apply to a lot of different aspects of life as adults. They're like, people just aren't nice to each other, that there's like a lack in the world. And so I'm like, I'm a cry just so they were like, we're gonna make they made bracelets with little messages on them to inspire people more kind, and sold those bracelets to people in the community. It's like, they look down at it and you're like, anytime you want to kind of, if you're having unkind thoughts or you're behaving in a way that's unkind, like there goes that you look down at your wrist and be like, oh, okay, maybe I need to think a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And I was so moved by how clear it was to them, like this simple thing that we made, with beads, whatever, that could solve and address this much larger issue that like people aren't being nice to each other, and we have to accept that people aren't nice. We can fix it. We can do something about it. So
I
that's one.
Yeah, no, I love that so much because I think you're so right in that we underestimate our young students. Like elementary school, people have this bias to think that they're not going to understand or it's going to be above their head. And when you actually start engaging with younger kids, you realize like they have so much brilliance and they also have such a passion for justice and such a keen sense of justice. So when you talk to them about, what are the things you care about in the world, it often comes back to, like you said, kindness. Like they want people to be kind to each other. They want to end bullying. They want, to address these issues that they see in their life of justice. But so often adults just think they're too young, they won't get it, it will be too difficult for them. And I find just the opposite, that they really do get it.
They do. The more that we give them credit for getting it, the more engaged I think that we can expect them to
Mm-hmm.
be. But I feel like this underestimation is part of what like lets the engagement die as they get older in their schooling journey. That cases, it's a lot of work for
Yeah.
teachers to make the classroom about helping them see the connection to the real world. And I think a lot of the teachers that I work with really love what we do and kind of the approach that we take, because it for them to do that in most cases, them doing that means that they have to spend time that they don't have and resources that they don't have trying to make things work, and they're having to the basic job of their teaching already, which is like preparing the lessons that I was going to do, and dealing with all the parents and doing the classroom management strategies. Like they already have a
Yeah.
job, and so the classroom engaging on top of just keeping the classroom going, it's a completely separate event, especially as we've talked about, that getting the basics of teaching is getting harder and harder to do because of the student apathy, because of student behavior, because of classroom management can be, because how little control teachers have over what they're allowed to do in the classroom and how they're allowed to manage students. So I,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just to make it easier for teachers. I think we're both in the space of trying to do that. How do we
Definitely.
make the classroom a better place? right now, I don't think that students have the most lovely connotation of what the classroom is or
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, yeah, like you said, bringing resources to the teachers is so key because we already know as educators ourselves that educators are just so overloaded. So, it's obviously hard. What are some strategies, ideas, like what can teachers do to bring this to their classroom, make it a little bit easier? What ideas do you have?
Yeah, so I think, I mean, full disclosure, the reason that we, do is because love, I love making curriculum. This is very much came out of a passion project for me, and so I'm always with ideas. And I think the first thing that I would recommend to any teacher who is trying to like find something fun or interesting and engaging and really build a, real world learning project for their class, start with the 21st century skills that you want them to acquire as a result of whatever this end project is going to be.
Yeah.
So whether we want to focus on communication and collaboration, or we want to focus on problem solving, or digital literacy, or civic literacy, like whatever those are, kind of look at that, list of 21st century skills and figure out which one you want. After that, I would think about what kind of deliverable do you think would be most exciting to see,
Yeah.
have them put together. So I've had TED experiences where every student is going to have an idea, and then we're all going to watch TED Talks. We're going to record the TED Talks and watch the movie. But it also could be something more written. So kind of thinking about like the mode that you want it to be, speaking or written, or more like artistic and visual. And then after that, you can start to kind of play with some ideas. I a ton of examples on our website. We have a blog that has, I think it's like 75 real world project ideas across all the different subjects. So we have ideas for math, for science, for history and English. So kind of take a look at that. There's a link to our bio in that. And then outside of kind of figuring out what type of project you want it to be, think about how long it's supposed to take. Because some teachers, time for a 1 hour activity, and some teachers are like, I need more, like let's try something bigger. So we also have a free project generator where you can literally kind of, it's like 3 or 4 questions. What subject do you teach, and what grade level are you focused on, and what tone do you want it to have, more creative, more academic? You kind of answer those questions, and then it will just give you a project can put together. I spent a lot of time building that, and like I love doing and that I think makes it hard for me because I enjoyed this so much. And so project generator is really, really great resource to just give you some ideas, but that's a lot more tailored to what you're looking for. The biggest one in that is also timing. Do you want a 1 to 4 hour project or a 5 to 8 hour project? Mm-hmm. And you can kind of decide how long it should take you. But I think those are my biggest considerations anytime I'm going into designing a new project or helping another teacher design one for their class. It's the 21st century skills, and then the type of deliverable you want them to build, and lastly, how long you want it to take.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, sounds like some amazing resources. Where can people find all these resources and the content from Mindset and Milestones? Where do they go to get all this wonderful stuff?
So, I'm sure they can see it here. We're probably tagged somewhere. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but you can go to our Instagram, and then in our bio, you'll see our link tree, and we have 3 different links there. The first one is actually to our project newsletter. So we heard from a lot of teachers that were like, I don't really have time to make my own project for me. And I was like, yes, I can. So we have a newsletter where we send out a project to teachers every week. It's a full project. It's an editable Canva template. So they can our project and then edit it, change it however they want to. So that is every day. Sunday scaries are very real for my teachers out there. The second, that project generator, that will put in the questions or put in your answers to the simple questions, give you a project that you can decide to take on or not. And then the last one is that is one of our blog articles that talks about some full project ideas that we have. And then if you go to our blog, you'll also see our full list of 75 project ideas for real world learning across all of the different subjects. So that link will take you to a lot of different places. It will give you all things project-based learning, all things real world learning as far as we are concerned, and it should get you off to a really great start.
That is amazing. So teachers have no excuse to not start doing this today. They're at your
Right.
fingertips. Go visit Mindset and Milestones. Check out all of those incredible things that they have to offer. Drea, thank you so much for chatting with us. I know it was super useful for our community. I learned a lot from you and your experience, so excited to have you on and excited hopefully for folks to go check out some of your incredible resources.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Shout out to Little Justice Leaders. You guys are incredible. The box, incredible. If cannot say enough about how much this woman right here knows what she's talking about. So,
All right. Thanks, Drea. We'll talk
all
soon.
right.
Bye.
Bye.